Welcome to Committee of the Whole for October 7th. Is Patrick coming?
No.
No, Patrick is away, okay. It's 9:02 in the morning. Agenda item number 1, additions to the agenda. Are there any additions?
Can we meet as just short in camera later?
Uh,
7,
for what purpose?
legal.
Legal? You're making
No one asked city manager a question.
okay. Anybody second
I'll second that one.
the addition to the agenda? In favor of the addition, please indicate. Opposed, none. We make an addition 7.1, legal in camera. Right, any other additions to the agenda? Council wish to make? No. Okay, business arising out of the minutes, September 9th, 2019.
I have correction of the minutes, 6.4, when Brandon, the mayor, gave his report, the comment about attended the Fall Cities this Fall City Caucus meeting with Deputy City Manager Nancy Pinner. I'm not that role. I just don't want that responsibility. Last bullet. Just deputy mayor, yeah. Just a correction.
I bet you take
I'll
the
take the paycheck, but I don't want the, the job description, sorry.
Okay. All right. All right, agenda item number 3, presentations. 3.19 a.m. Comrade Frost from the Royal Canadian Legion. Presentation to council. So it's 9:04. We recognize Comrade Frost till 9:15.
Thank you, Mayor Burley, City Board and Councilors. I'd like to thank you for considering this. I had a meeting with Sal and he kind of guided me through the process, and then I understand him and Michelle went over to see if it was even actually something that council could take forward to AMM, and my understanding is that they feel it's something you could consider anyway. Basically, I think you have a copy of what I sent to your city manager. There is one correction on there that I said that Steinbach branch had 78 members. They actually only had 73. I won't read this because you've all got it. I'm basically here to answer questions. I will say that when I started this process, I was acting as a Legion member and kind of on behalf of Branch 4 with the blessing of our district, or Branch 11 with the blessing of our District 4 commander. We since then had 2 meetings. I now have the blessing of Zone 43, of which we're a part, and District 4, which we're also a part. I will also say that if you decide to proceed with this and it comes to fruition, this will be for every Legion branch in Manitoba will be affected by this. So if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I think the letter is self-explanatory. And again, we're doing this kind of on behalf of Steinbach, but down the road, Branch 11 could run into the same issue because Winkler's got butt with the outlying area. They've got like 17 or 18 schools. Right now, we have a really good relationship with their school division. And we drop the poppies up there and they give them to the bus drivers to take to the schools. Now, over on that eastern side, there's probably 50 towns. And in the rural areas, I'm sure the bus drivers take their buses home as opposed to going to the common collection point, right? So I'm not sure if that's feasible to do there. But at any rate, what we're hoping you folks will agree to is to get a point of contact in each government, whether it's municipal, LGD, or city or town, at which point when the poppies come in, I may be misrepresented in here. I don't think they should be contacting us. I think we should be contacting whoever that point of contact is that we're given to make arrangements to forward these poppies on to have them distributed. I did touch on the fact that all the branches actually have to meet the cost of these poppies because the city or the Dominion Command, they just direct you're going to do it and you're going to pay for it. But I think for the most part, most branches poppy fund's pretty healthy because you can't really use it for a lot anyway. So this was just brought up, it's not affecting us, but I wanted you to have all the information on that. So is there any questions?
My only question when I read this book is that I question if we're the right body for this, or if it should be the school divisions that you should be approaching, because it's the school children that you're wanting to, it's an educational it falls under education of
I agree.
students. So I question why.
No, I agree, and I brought this up at the meeting, and I suggested that, and again, you know, we're pretty fortunate here, like Branch 11's had a lot of support from the future mayor and council and from this mayor and council, and Steinbach's kind of just hung out to dry. They got those 73 members, but they got 5 people that do all the work. They're in the process of losing their building. They've got a lot of stuff going on, and I suggested he go to their local government, their mayor and whatever, and he said it would not give him the religious belief, I'll put it that way. I'm not sure if that's the correct terminology of that area.
Well, they're pacifists. I mean,
Yeah,
they
it
come out
would
of
be
that same
received
background.
well. Yeah, but I agree, that's the first thing I said, and quite frankly, if it was me in Steinbach, I know he goes on the radio every year before Remembrance Day and promotes Remembrance Day, I'd be asking for volunteers in all the outlying areas to phone into a certain number and say, you know, explain what you wanted. Like, you might not get one in every area, but you'd certainly get some. But this just, in discussions with our zone commander and our district commander, and this is, by the way, going to provincial executive council, I believe, on the 21st of October is the next meeting. I understand they probably are going to approach the AMN government body, whatever that is, with this, some type of a proposal the same way. I know, and that's why in the letter you'll see, I didn't know if it fell within their parameters or guidelines as something that you folks can even take forward. I'm not saying that it's the correct method for the Legions to promote this, but it certainly would get it out there and you know.
So what's the cost? Like, who pays for this? The Legions cover the cost of the bucket?
Yeah.
So why would you not go to the school then? Like,
Well-
like I know you mentioned that maybe the Legion branch in Steinbach wouldn't be able to approach the council, but why would they not go to the school division?
Well, I think that probably the teachers are the same mind as the council there.
Is that right?
I would guess. And
It
again,
should be brought up their provincial body.
So the issue is the poppies are being supplied but not distributed, is
yeah,
that?
yeah, I'm not, the cost is not,
No,
I mean, I
so
don't feel that's an issue.
it's the issue
Some of the
of-
branches do, but I don't.
It's
Like,
the issue of getting them to the kids.
yeah, getting them out. And you're right, like, I would use the school bus drivers, right? But what we need is a point of contact, and I'm not sure, like, I gotta think in that area that they cover, now that St. Anne's closed, you know, how many square miles is that? South of the perimeter highway to the American border, and then east to the red, to the Saskatchewan, or the Ontario border.
No, you're talking like the school bus drive, that's for rural, but for urban children, then it's the teachers, right? Would it not be the teachers then the better?
We're kind of opening up a can of worms here. We do have certain teachers that actually do pay for poppies for their kids, but not very many. I mean,
So you're not technically delivering them to each school?
well, we do here in Morton because it's
Yeah.
just the 4 schools. In Winkler, and like I said, they're very good there. That we drop them off there, they distribute them through the bus drivers to the outlying schools and the schools in Winkler. And like I said, I think for the most part right now, our catchment area for Branch 11, it's not an issue, but we're looking down the road and we are given a mandate to try to help this branch out in the discussion. Maybe because of the support that we've had in this area from you guys, I thought, well, we'll try it, we'll see. Again, I'm not even sure if this is something that you would choose to take forward, right? But I thought at least it wouldn't hurt to try. I will tell you this, if you and I was told this on Saturday at the meeting in Carmen, at the district meeting, if you decide to take this forward, 2 other branches asked me to give them a copy of this letter to take to their local government to forward it. But so they're kind of, I guess you're the test case, if you want to call it that. You'll be the tip of the spear if it goes anywhere. But That's about all I can tell you. That, I agree with you, Hank, that was the first thing I thought of was going to the schools, because basically that's what we do.
So it's my understanding that you're looking for council support to get this to AMM and ultimately to the province for them to implement something.
Well, I would think that even if AMM, if they could get an agreement, just give the Legion, like, or even through provincial executive council, send out a list of a point of contact in each local government, be what it is. And then let the Legions, like, we're not expecting the local governments to do any work on this other than maybe provide a point of contact, whether it be like someone like Michelle or whoever, you know what I mean? That's all we're hoping to achieve. We don't expect the local governments or AMM to do anything to promote this other than provide a point of contact.
Have you made the request to any other body, say the teachers union?
No, this just came up 2 weeks ago, and it's been kind of a whirlwind. It was thrown together very quickly.
Could there be a resolution drafted up, like with maybe Michelle and you guys or whatever, that council could take to AMM as a resolution?
I would be willing to do something like that, but that's mostly what this is about. I wasn't sure if you guys could take this forward as a resolution to start with, something like this, or even as a point of discussion. And that's kind of, I had a good conversation with Sal and kind of went over, and obviously in his and Michelle's investigation into what could and couldn't be brought forward, they felt that this could in some way be brought forward at the AMM meetings. But yeah, if you wanted to draft it in a resolution form, I would do that. But again, I guess that's only if you're prepared to take it forward, right?
Well, that would get the ball rolling though.
Well, but if it's not, if we don't have your support, given the support we have received in the past, then I can't see it flying at the AMM meeting, right? I mean,
Well,
if you guys are a little skeptical of it, then for sure other jurisdictions will be more so, I'm guessing.
As you said, if we get behind it, you've already got commitments from 2 others that will
Yeah.
go to their
Well,
councils
then
and do the same, so.
Right, and I'll, if or when you make a decision, and the decision is to take it forward, I'm gonna go to the RM and see if they will. I'm not sure what the reception there will be. I will give you the name of one, and it's Carmen's one, and the other one I won't bring up yet because there's things going on.
I think it's very important that we support this in some way and keep our kids informed of what our grandfathers and fathers all fought for and where we are today because of them. So.
My worry is it's not that, I mean, I obviously see the value in this. My question is if we take it to the AMM and then think we've done all that we can do, whether that's enough, because the AMM really, for every resolution that gets put up, 1/10 of a resolution actually gets implemented by the province.
Yeah.
So my concern is that we would take it to the AMM, even if they pass it, my question is that the end of the road for implementation? How much effort will they put into it? And whether we sit back and continue to push it forward to the province. That would be my concern, is whether or not we have, you know, a second wave of, you know, if we have some reinforcement coming in terms of implementation, whether we're going to take it to the teachers union as well, whether we're going to take it to the province. And to
But
the
that should
Minister of
be up to
Heritage.
us, I think, Brandon. That should be the Legion's job to
That-
approach
right.
these bodies, but we're just trying to start a process.
Yeah.
I don't think, okay, I'll ask you a question then, or Sal. If this goes to AMM and they agree that, like, we don't necessarily need the province to mandate that this happen, as long as the AMM, as a governing body for the municipalities or the local governments, will just provide us with the list.
If this got to AMM, it would put it out there to all municipalities and everything, like, it would get the ball rolling on that, and everybody would be aware of it.
But you still wouldn't change the support of, you know, certain.
So the earliest we can bring this thing forward is next June.
Yeah, there's no
Okay,
rush.
so why, we got from now till then, why don't you approach the Western School Division, see if they would bring it forward to their national group or their provincial group and do it, because it involves the educational system. I think more than
It's not just the educational
municipalities.
system, I
Right?
mean, that's where they're going, but this is about Remembrance Day.
Well, I know that, except the distribution isn't through the municipality, it's through the school. We're two different entities.
But it's not through the school, it's through the Legion. We're just fortunate that we have one school division that actually supports us doing that. I think we're the only one. Everybody else delivers theirs. And I can't speak to what happens in the city of Winnipeg, because I really don't know.
So where does it, and not that, I think it's a good idea. First of all, I'm just wondering about the logistics of it, like how the municipality, I mean, yeah, we're a body that we can bring it forward. We give it to our June meeting, the June meeting brings it to the November meeting, and then it gets onto a list of who knows where.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's a drawn out process. So I think Mayor Burley addressed, you know, like and that, why would it not be the right body then to bring it to the school division?
Well, I didn't really say it wasn't the right body. I'm not sure that that's, like I said, this started 2 weeks ago, and this was my
Yeah.
first thought because of past support.
Well, yeah.
And we're doing this, if you want to term it crudely, we're probably trying to backdoor this to AMM through you folks.
Well, we can bring it to AMM, that's not an issue, if they'll take it.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just, and it's
And that's
not
all
an
we're asking.
emergency, so we can't bring it forward this fall, so, you know, you're talking, the earliest it's going to be brought to the provincial group would be a year from now.
It couldn't be brought forward to this fall meetings in November, yeah,
No,
because it has to be a resolution. It
no,
can't
it has to be, no, it has to be presented in June for a district meeting first. That gets presented to then it goes through the process of determining if it's actually going to get the provincial Association for Manitoba Municipality Conference.
What about as a point of discussion as opposed to a resolution?
Boy, I don't know, where would you bring that forward? There's no opportunity for that.
No.
I don't know, I'm just, like
Yeah,
I
there is,
said, this
like
is,
there's this prescribed agenda, and there is no other item. I mean, if you did that, I can tell you the guys from the southwest corner of this province would bring forward, they'd use up all our time.
It could unofficially be mentioned to the
Yeah.
AMM executive vote.
Yeah,
Well, you go ahead,
Motion,
yeah,
but-
you can find it, I mean,
I know it's already in the process. Have we talked to Cameron, or are you thinking of talking to Cameron?
not really, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering
I
if
could,
that's,
but
if that's
it's-
an option.
If it's a photo shoot, Cameron and Candace will be there, other than that.
You know, I'm thinking of sitting down and having a good discussion on it.
Well, I could, I mean, maybe it's something he would take and run with. He supports us, but it's,
Yeah.
what I would recommend doing is sitting down with Michelle and Fassel and determining what the resolution is, provide it to council before the November meeting, and we can unofficially bring it up with people. We can kind of get the temperature in the room before June. It won't be quick, but we can certainly start working on it if we know what the content of the resolution is. And then I think by the process of writing that resolution, I think we'll identify the people we need to get support from, because that resolution will bring up things like tourism and heritage,
yeah.
education, and I think if we have, you know, if we have more spears on the trident, the better, than if we just say, okay, it's going to be municipalities, because it's pretty precarious thinking that like, it won't be a question of our support, likely for the resolution, but a matter of whether or not it will be enough to get the kind of result you want.
And again, like I said, the object of this whole process for us right now is to see, I guess we were thinking more of a lobbying situation when you go to the AM meetings, just a discussion. I mean, it would be nice if it could be brought forward and accepted and all this, but we're not really sure what that process is. We're not sure what the end result would be. And quite frankly, even if the AMM does decide to run with something like this, and like Hank says, the provincial government doesn't do anything with it, or somebody mentioned, down the road, would it continue to happen, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, it could work for the next 5 years or 10 years, or however long the current local governments are in place, but it could just disappear too. But like I'm here for suggestions too. Like, I agree with Hank. I really believe that the school system is one place to go through. And I guess, given more time, I probably would have talked to Cameron, and I will now, to see if this is something that he wants to take forward. In fact, he'll be at our Remembrance Day banquet.
But I was talking to Stephen Ross, that guy, you might be able to fast track it through there.
Okay.
But right now, he's asking if council would support him too.
Yeah.
Is
I
what
hear
he
you.
asked, so.
Yeah, I
I'd say a
don't-
resolution
wouldn't, I
I think
just
that
don't-
up would be,
Yeah, but our process is a slower process.
unfortunately it is.
Well, as is everybody's, like, personally, I think this should be coming down from provincial command as opposed to going up from the local branch level, but that, at this time, won't happen. And it was actually, we had a resolution put forth at our meeting on Saturday that deals partially with this, and I said, why did you make it a resolution? Because our next convention is 2 years from now. They could have just put it forth as a topic of discussion. You could have taken it to provincial executive council, and they could have done something with it. I don't know where it would have went, but, you know, but as soon as they put it in the resolution form, like you said, there's a process.
Yeah.
Even though it's not going to be going on to Dominion Command, it still has to be dealt with. You know, it would be taken to provincial command if they decided to support it. It would still go to a provincial convention, but normally when they not concur with a resolution, it doesn't usually pass. So, at any rate, I appreciate the time to present this. Like I said, we're just kind of clutching at straws here to find a way that maybe something could happen.
Well, I mean, you're aggressive, you say all school children in Canada, I mean, yeah, little Tom Warden can do something, but, you know, it's,
Yeah, well, and you're right, Hank, and quite frankly, having spent a lot of time in the bush in northern Manitoba, I don't know how the hell the legions, there's only 2 legions up, well, 3, how they get them out to all those reserves, like unless they do use the school division, which
Yeah.
is, you know.
to me, that's the logical place to
Yeah,
hit, but it's up to you guys.
I don't think it hurts to have more support than less.
well, I'll make a commitment to you that I'll talk to the school division here and Cameron, like, and we'll see if we can't get
It's
this.
actually, when you're talking Canada, yeah, you're talking Cameron and
Canada's.
whoever
Yeah.
whoever the MP is.
Yeah, no, this will be just, this is, like I said, our Dominion Command, or provincial command is actually northwestern Ontario too, but this doesn't affect them. And maybe it does, but it's not in the regard that I'm presenting here. This is strictly, if this happens, it will be strictly the province of Manitoba that you're champion or whatever to do this.
I don't think it would hurt at all
No.
to get that resolution going, though. I mean, it really can't hurt.
Okay.
They may not accept that as being,
You know, and we really don't expect a whole lot other than if you put it out there, it could eventually evolve into something, right?
The issue.
Well, you're on Facebook now, so.
Oh, boy.
so yeah.
Andy, you didn't tell me that. Anyways, I do appreciate your time, and I appreciate what you folks have done to even give me some guidance and the opportunity to present this and where it goes. Like I said, I don't know. I have two branches waiting to hear kind of what comes out of this meeting, and I'll just say that you have requested that I sit down and set up a resolution also that I go to the local school boards in our local NLA. And we'll see where it goes. But I know Carmen just said, all they said to me is, if Morden City Council agrees to take this forward in some fashion, give us that letter and we'll take it to our mayor. So whether that means anything or not, I don't know.
Well, they can also talk to Peterson.
Yeah, yeah, for
They're
sure.
MLA.
Yeah.
Might not hurt to have the resolution written before, because eventually when it goes to the province, they're gonna wanna know what it is they're looking at and what the official ask will be, right?
Yeah, and get it ready for
Get it
June
ready,
and
yeah.
put it forward.
Well, even before November, so we can kind of, you know, kind
We'll have
of,
a heads up that it's
Yeah.
coming for next year.
yeah. Sure. Any other questions?
No, thanks.
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for presenting. It is 9:27, agenda 4, corporate, is Councillor Hildebrand.
Thank you. Financial statements in front of you to the end of September. Had a chance to look at it. We know Patrick is on vacation this week, Thursday. Okay. Does anybody have any questions of this that we can bring forward and get answers to you, or?
I have lots of questions, but I guess I can't.
If you have lots of questions, Gary, would you
I-
mind sitting down with Patrick?
I will either that or I can just email them as well, whatever.
Well, I don't know, if you have lots, why don't you sit
Yeah, I
down?
can sit down.
Or just some?
Yep.
Okay. Or you can give, yeah, that's probably the
Yeah.
best, I think. What do you think, Pastor?
Yeah, sure. I'll do it. That's it.
You'd like a copy of that? Okay. So if you can give Fassel a copy of the ones that you have a question on, that would be good too. Okay. So that's a financial statement. There's no, there's no resolution or anything. It's just for information. In community service and events report, Claire is not here. And Patrick is not here, so does anybody have any, there's a lot going on at the Access Event Center or under Claire's, the community service and events role.
So they're working with the Discovery Center?
Yes.
In regard to the hub?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you've seen that communication come through in the emails, right?
Yeah.
Michelle, it looks like she's, men coordinator, is busy at work already.
And then
I
please,
have, sorry, I have just one question, and Fowler can maybe even answer this. One of her comments was about changing signing authorities for the Access Credit Union for the campground and the Access Event Center. And she said something about task is still outstanding, requires senior management signatures and authorization. Do you know what that is? That's a part of her administration report.
What page are you on, Gary?
Page 15. It's just part of her administration report. It just says changing the signing authorities task is outstanding.
May could have been done because that report is
Okay,
for
Okay.
last month.
okay. Okay.
And there was discussion in her report too about doing the campground person full-time. Is that
yeah,
coming
he did
forward?
a wonderful job out there.
I
Yeah.
can understand that, but it's not like an HR matter,
Okay.
so can't discuss it.
So it'll come for budget and all that kind of stuff.
But the signing authority, Gary, that is for a separate account that they run
Right,
for the campground, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, that hasn't changed. You're just wondering why the.
No, it just says the task is outstanding, so I guess it hasn't been.
Probably when they wrote the report.
Yeah, so yeah,
Okay.
already done, so.
It's good. Anybody else have any?
How hard
questions?
is that bike to pedal? They're looking
Hold
for
on with
drivers,
the-
for pilots, and I'm thinking, how hard is it to pedal? I'll have to
If
talk
I
to.
contact Heather, I think
Heather,
she's in
okay.
charge of that.
Have they found a place to store those yet?
I would assume they do.
Okay. Because they're going
It
to.
wouldn't be outside.
I don't think there'd be much bike riding because it's supposed to snow.
No, these are those,
After tomorrow.
yeah, you've seen a picture of that in the paper. Right? So, okay, then that, and then you got youth member letter. Do you need this come forward then to council for approval at the end of the month?
It will come to council.
It will come to council? Okay, so this is just a letter.
Yeah, and
Okay.
just wondering like if we do have any other application or just one candidate for this position.
Well, we're happy to get a candidate,
Yeah.
but then you
Yeah,
have
that's what
to,
like I was just wondering because we are going through the process if another candidate will challenge that, so.
oh, is there another one?
No, we don't have any, so I was just confirming like if we have received any other.
So the bylaw around this student council member states that we will give notice to the high school every year, at the end of the year, and then they'll publish it to students. So we did that, and Molly was the only person
Okay, good.
who applied.
Because I had a chance to attend the academic award ceremony and Molly Collegiate, and she's pretty much promising candidate for this position. So.
She wrote a great letter.
The issue is as fast as you lose your chair.
No problem. I'll get Patrick to sit in front
Oh,
of
yeah,
So we are recommending to my name reported
Yes,
to
to come.
council for approval.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, get a name for it. A name plate. There's two other items coming forward to council meeting at the end of the month, and that's variation order for 427 Lorne and 421 12th Street. So if you have any questions of those, Martin is here. You can ask him. Can't make a decision, obviously, before the date, so.
So these are how big of units?
For which one? For
Lorne, I'm sorry. Yeah.
They're 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom units. I think they're each approximately ranging from about 1,000 square feet up to about 1,300 square feet.
Okay, so there'll be ample parking there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The way that it's set up is each unit will have at least a single garage. Some have double garages. Then there's parking immediately in front of those garages, and then there's aisle-way parking as well.
Okay.
Always concerned about the parking. I believe it's part of the development that they have to have so many parking spots, so that should never be an issue.
Okay, but it's, I just like to ask, make sure.
It's a good question, and just so you guys know, if there was a shortage of parking in accordance with our regulations, that would be part of the variance application as well.
What is the minimum front and rear yard requirements in that zone?
Yeah, it's a little bit peculiar here because although it looks like they're townhouses, so each cluster looks like it's orienting towards a side street. Those are actual private aisles, so it's all one big lot. So the front property line is Lorne, and the rear property line is the north property line.
Right.
So the setback would be, if you had a standard, say, multifamily building, 25 feet setback from the Lorne property line and 25 feet from the north property line.
Okay.
So 6 feet, there's no concern then, right?
No, it's a little bit quirky. This has been a moving target somewhat. Initially, they had come forward with a subdivision application that would have created 2 private roadways, two public roadways, in which case the orientation of the units would then, the front yard would be to those side streets, and then what we're calling a front yard now, because it's one big lot, they comply by being 5 feet or more from the north and south property lines.
Just the road configuration changes that then.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, this is also related to the situation we're in with respect to our lagoon. Our developers are finding in order to move forward with development, they're needing to be creative with the subdivision process. This is something the province is aware of in all the departments thereof. So they're not trying to get around rules, they're trying to work within those rules.
Another question I have, Martin, is green space. With the subdivision of this size, what is the requirement for green space?
Yeah, there actually is no subdivision on this one.
There is not?
They're building these 17 townhouse units on one lot, and that lot was created subsequent to the city of Morden selling this property to this applicant. At that time, they split a larger lot into 2, and so the land dedication would have been handled at that time. So there's nothing.
So no green space.
Is there an area for green space in this whole strip there?
And there's a very tiny one further to the east, closer to where Lorne Drive jogs to the south. Otherwise, no, we would intend to pick up the green space for this overall area north of. Initially, as council members probably know, most of Pembina Junction is intended to be a commercial development. So any sort of reference to green space from 10 years or so ago always referred to those lands to the north.
Yeah, the reason I asked is there's a lot of children out there. When I drive down the road, there's always children. And then right now they're playing in that lot beside Homestead. So that's
that vacant lot, which we don't anticipate remaining vacant for very much longer either.
Are you concerned about the driveways on the corner?
With respect to, if we were talking about having, say, a drive-through restaurant or something like that, proximity, we would have to pay attention to cars stacking in a situation where townhouses are effectively attached single family. So we don't anticipate queuing. going in to these properties or coming out from them.
Okay. In terms of line of sight for vehicle traffic coming out of this, especially the one, the westerly drive, the line of sight for vehicles coming around that corner won't be affected?
There's a fair setback between curb and property line, that, and the fact that there's very little traffic we're expecting to be generated here. I kind of look at sight lines and situation like this is, this is kind of a form of traffic calming. It's not a sign. When you have more activity, the tendency is for people to not speed through a stretch of roadway like this. They tend to slow down. So when we bring the buildings closer to the roadway, the sensation that you have driving along the street is there's friction along it. So people's natural tendency is to not drive to the design speed of the street. It's actually to react to the environment. So we don't anticipate there's going to be any sight line, any additional incident of traffic accidents at this location due to this configuration.
Okay, and you want to move on to the one at 12th Street, and if somebody's wanting to add to their existing property, or a 400 square foot or something, I see, building.
Typically, this would be one council members that we would, committee members, we would typically do this one as designated officer approved, but this significantly affects one property owner. What the subject site has is an existing 32-foot deep by 22-foot wide detached garage near the north property line. So at the top of the property that's outlined in red in the aerial photograph. They're adding an extension that's 20 feet deep to the back of that garage. And in doing so, they exceed the maximum accessory building size for the site. I think the existing building is about 700 square feet. They're adding about 400 square feet. The maximum is 800 square feet total for that site. It doesn't affect anyone else. The applicant has indicated that not only has he spoken to the neighbor across the property line, but that neighbor will likely assist in the construction of this garage. If this, just a point of note for interest's sake, if this building were attached to the house, physically, it would comply, but the fact that it's a detached building, we have this maximum square footage for detached accessory buildings.
And these have huge backyards, eh?
Yeah, this lot's something like 178 feet deep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is the use, personal use, it's not?
Yeah, it's a two-car garage right now, a small workshop. The intent is to, this addition is for workshop purposes. So it's just for homeowner use.
Okay. 'Cause there was another garage on 12th that they cut the front off and they moved it forward, and that didn't affect anything, right?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one, but in this case, yeah, the only affected party here would be the property owner to the north. Because of that, our decision was that we should post this for public hearing in front of council, because there is an impact. However, the impact is mitigated somewhat by, if they were to structurally attach it, there would be no public hearing.
Okay, so I guess we'll have to see if there's any opposition to it at the council, at the...
And if there is, it would likely be that person to the north.
Yeah.
See, I just have one opinion in that to the east, that house that's way back in behind there, that would be the only property that, you know, might have some concern, right?
Yeah, and I
But
believe
there-
that the rear of that garage is something like 60
Yeah.
feet away.
Yeah,
So,
because of the depth of the, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Okay, we'll move forward. We got 4.7, local improvement bylaw 3-2019, new fire rescue truck that our fire chief has been wanting for the last year or more. Question I've got is that borrowing at the maximum rate, like, that's just a guesstimate that rate, because that,
No, the rate is like 3.125, but
Oh.
we need to put 2% cushion as per the crowd, so.
oh,
So
okay,
that's why it's 5.125 and,
okay, got it. And this would fall into, I'm not sure what it's called, but the cost of this is distributed between City of Morden and the municipality of Stanley, right? Like,
no, for
would it not be part of the cost?
No, that's as per our financial plan, that city is bearing that cost of rescue truck, and we will do that tomorrow.
Even if it's used in the RN Stanley?
It should be though, like when that calculation is done on an annual basis, this capital cost should be involved in that calculation. So the RMS Stanley's contribution should in effect go up in the future.
You say should or it will?
With that calculation, it will.
Oh, okay, that's good. So then it is not just all borne by the city?
Yeah, it's not where the RN would participate directly.
Oh, no.
It's through their yearly,
Calculation, right?
fee for services. That
Yeah, okay, got it. Just clear, just want to make sure that it's,
Still on track for the end of the year?
Sorry?
Are you still on track for the end of the year?
The completion is supposed to be before Christmas. By the time we get access to it, I'm assuming it'll be after the new year.
Okay.
so there's the issue with regard to, I know we talked about it way back. One is the tariffs, the other one was the exchange rate. So where are we at with that?
The tariff, the way it was explained to me, which I don't understand totally, is that when the truck was ordered, there was a partial tariff already set. That one we cannot get back. The one that was set, there was a percentage of the tariff added after that. That one we don't have to pay for it, because technically all the materials were supposed to be ordered the day that we accepted the offer. So then whatever happens after that is contractual.
Okay,
What happens before that, it's, yeah, it's.
so it's not on the total price of the unit, it's just on the material portion?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and then the exchange rate
And
was?
the exchange rate is whatever fluctuation it is. Right now, I think we are a couple of cents difference than when we
When you ordered it?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the
Anybody
wrong
have
way.
any question?
In the wrong way.
In the wrong way, yeah.
My only question is, are we going to have to change the date of that hearing? 28? We don't have enough time then.
No, we will be, we checked with, Michelle checked it, and we have enough time to do that.
Well, the municipal act says you have to give 21 days notice on a local improvement, and it has to be in the paper for 2 weeks.
It says 14 days. And, yeah, they mentioned us 14 days and 2 weeks.
It'll be in
Or
a
two
this
days.
Thursday, next Thursday. And according to municipal services,
That's okay?
that's enough.
Okay.
For the, just so you're aware, I'm still available to drive it back from Florida whenever it's ready.
Okay, but it's going to be in Hamburg, New York, so that might be
Okay, I'll go to Hamburg then. I'll change my flight.
Okay. It's actually, if you want to go on to website, it's e1inprocess.com, and you'll be able to watch our truck being built. The code to get onto it is 142610, and it will show up pictures of the cab and chassis in process. And once that's done, which is expected the end of this week, it's loaded onto a flatbed, taken to New York, and that's where the rear portion of the truck is going.
Progress or process?
Process.
Okay.
E1, that's number one?
No, E-O-N-E,
Yeah,
process, or in processor.com,
yeah, okay.
and then the
142, 640?
610.
Well, 610.
610.
Yeah, 610.
Okay, Anybody have any questions? We'll be hearing that on the council meeting. Okay, then we have, I don't know, this other one with regards to public hearing 2243, does that fall under operation or still under B? Well, that's that public hearing of PTH 14 on Park Street, that'd be Winthrop, so.
That's my person, just for informational.
That's for information, we don't need Martin to explain it to us? Okay, then I move this to operations
Okay,
at 9:48.
5.2, facilities report, everybody's read it? Any questions on it? Seeing any on 5.2?
You see him, Martin?
Parks and urban forestry, again, these are all reports, 5.4, 5.5.
You know, if I can bring up one item, and I think Councillor Maddock mentioned it some time ago, is we don't see a report from our bylaw officer anymore. Where would that fit in? Would that be under,
Under corporate then.
pardon me?
Under corporate.
There
Under
was, because he talked about getting 6 beavers out of the park.
Where'd you see that?
In operations, yeah.
I haven't seen that. I'm just curious as to what's going on.
Okay, then I'll, just for information.
Are we gonna get
That's under Parks and Urban Forestry
Yeah.
report, that's where the beavers were.
Oh, okay.
Parks and, so that'd be under community service?
Well, I know pest management on page 34.
Okay, thanks. Oh, next,
Okay,
It
so
is here.
Sorry, 5.4,
but that's.
I know we've,
bylaw officer.
No.
brought this one up before.
Pest management.
The Neptune meters, there's 15 new Neptune meters installed again in the month of September, right? About have we heard, has there been any communication with KTI at all?
We are in communication with them and we have provided them our funding so that they can start working on permits and all that stuff. And they will get back to us once they get all those permits. And we are replacing those 15 units were because we have to replace them, so that's why we did that. And we are still replacing them. If any meter broke, then we are replacing them with Neptune meters at this point in time, until we replace all meters.
So is there a timeline for when all the permits are in place?
Yeah, hopefully January or February.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wondered, because it's been probably about a year since they signed that contract.
Yeah, I
so-
understand that, but we didn't have enough resources given here, human resources to deal with that. So we had a last time we had a meeting with them, I believe a week ago, and they made a presentation to us and we provided them with power autonomy so that they can start working on permits and all that stuff.
Well, what is the cost, what would the cost be of those Neptune meters approximately? You know, the radio reads, $400?
I believe so, I need to check.
Well, just well, I mean, that's,
It
just-
Top of my head.
it's just, we're spending a lot of money replacing some that we're gonna have to take out.
Yeah, I understand that.
But again, we didn't have resources, Gary.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying it's a waste of ratepayers' money.
Yeah, but what do you do? What would you do?
Well, I'm just saying, it's been a year ago since he signed the contract.
Yeah, I know.
You would think that.
Well, we didn't
something
have the
would happen.
resources.
Well, they wouldn't have resources, you would think.
No, but we
Because
did.
We're not
Probably
installing,
all
we're
right.
installing them. They're installing them. So it's not really our problem. Right?
Hmm.
Or no?
It's like changing the system as well, because we are going to change our rating system and all that, software and things like that, so it has to be implemented through utilities first, so it takes time.
Just a question about the technology. The cellular read, it's a triple read, right? It's a radio, manual, and cellular read?
I don't have
Okay,
question on that in my head.
okay.
But there was another misconception was that Monet, that if you don't have Monet, then we may not have that service. But it's not, it's a myth, so even though without Monet, we can have projects.
That's it. 5.6, planning and engineering, this is in regards to the new daycare. I believe it's got the support of our local police as far as putting up speed zones and signs. So this is something we'll bring forward, I believe.
Well, that they're already doing it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So now there's basically like request by the daycare. So we looked into that, and these two things were doable, like speed reduction as well as new crosswalks, so that we can get their two childcare facilities connected to the sidewalk south of Brampton Street. So, and we are recommending to move it forward for council's approval for the meeting on October 28th.
There'll be a bylaw.
Sorry?
There'll be a bylaw for speed reduction?
That will be added into that. So if we have a bylaw and we are doing everything as per a bylaw.
Yeah.
And we're gonna move it further up.
Yes. I believe
I think your pictures are right here.
Okay, and then,
My question is on the,
There it
this.
is.
Keep going.
Oh, yeah, Mr.
There's
Grant.
30 there, and you just keep coming down. Further.
Heading east on Rampton, that start of the 30 zone at the corner, do you think that's a little far back?
they requested,
Go down?
The speed zone.
Right here.
'Cause it's quite a ways back.
yeah, they requested that because of the curve. They thought, we've got to get them slowed down before they get into the straightaway, because once you get to the straightaway, you're pretty much on top of them. So they requested it pushed back a little bit, and that was from the girls at the daycare. I don't know,
We always had issues with speed around those curves too.
yeah.
We've had a couple of accidents on there. Doesn't hurt to keep it, or put it at 30, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
And
I agree, it seems
A long way.
like a long stretch there, but it's not a bad idea around that curve.
Maybe by the time they get around the corner, they'll have slowed down by then.
Well, and we have a lot of traffic
It might
there
be
in the
at
summer
30.
with soccer,
Yeah,
and they're still in operation when a lot of this is happening, so.
and there's no sidewalk there.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
these are just good places.
Okay.
That's it then? And go over committee of the whole.
All right, 6.1, city manager report.
sorry, I don't have any report for this meeting.
All right, 6.2, fire chief report.
It's, as far as call-wise go for the month of September, it's been quiet, which is, as mentioned to Brad, it's a little bit of an eerie feeling, but it's good. It's a good feeling, yeah. But is there any questions that have popped up in the report that?
No, I'm just curious, when you rescued the parachute glider off the hydro lines,
Yes.
well, I mean, first of all, being on hydro lines is scary, but well, I guess you got a ladder truck or something, you gotta get up there, a bucket truck.
The ladder truck was requested from Wickler. When our members, I wasn't there,
Oh,
but when the members arrived, this guy had dismantled himself. Is that the correct word?
Unentangled?
Well, he didn't untangle himself, he just took off the harness and dropped to the ground.
oh, he was that close to the ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened is he was coming in and he went underneath the wires and his parachute came over top and wrapped around. So he was dangling there. I don't know how far off the ground he was, but he unhooked himself or unharnessed himself and dropped to the ground, which is what will have saved him.
Yeah.
If he will have touched the ground, he would be in the
Being
ground.
connected, yeah.
You mean you would have conduit, because that's just cable or rope anyways, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the cables are made out of,
Oh,
but that would have been the problem. But
not a good deal.
he was able to, so when we got there, was actually, he was on the ground. And the parachute was still wrapped up in the wires, so Hydro was called and they came and did their thing.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
I see our favorite intersections are causing havoc.
Oh,
If we wouldn't have had those three intersections in the month of September, we would have only had 4 calls.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. And I don't know what to do. We've written letters, we've sent reports, we've done all kinds of things, and I know the other, this would be about a month ago or so. It was in the summer. There was some satellite read things put on the posts. I don't know what kind of information they got out of that, but yeah. Well, Brad can add to this too, but the left-hand turns are killing us there.
So I've asked the question though, what is our next step to get light changes, like?
We have Manitoba Infrastructure here, you can
I
talk
know.
to them, but it's a slow process.
So,
It has been brought to their attention several times, so
Yeah.
it's in their hands now.
See, I did my part when the cameras were there. I just sat in that left-hand turning lane with my blinker on and really congested things. Looped around and came back the other way.
Nice.
Should have staged an accident.
But we've been so fortunate that that no one's been killed.
Yeah.
We've had
Serious
lots and
injuries.
lots of close calls, particularly with motorbikes. Yeah, I just think of like 3 or 4 off the top of my head that how they were able to survive that was unbelievable. But yeah, the tendency for the traffic leaving those intersections, if they're on the outside edge and they're coming into the intersection, the tendency is for them to step on it, especially with motorcycles. I don't know whether it's the thrill of coming through the intersection or whatever it is. But when someone comes and cuts them off, now you've added to that collision. So yeah, it's nature. It's not like they're speeding. It's just they're not in a deceleration, they're in an acceleration.
Well, I've gone around that corner trying to get into an accident, and you know what, you have to watch. You can see the traffic coming, you don't have to pull into the pathway, but some people don't look and they just want to be able to make a left-hand
Sometimes
turn.
you're outside the traffic. Yeah. You get a
Well, if you
couple
don't
semis-
see them, you stop.
Yeah, but you get semis sitting there, and then all of a sudden they edge, and they're edging, and they're edging.
People get frustrated and they get, they gotta get there in a hurry, right? They don't have the patience to wait.
Yeah.
So what do people say that had the accident? Do you question them, why did you turn? Like, what is it?
Sorry.
They thought they could make it.
Yeah.
The other thing that doesn't
They thought
help
they could beat the traffic.
is the light on First Street is going out the other way again. And it'll sit there for who knows how long, and there's no traffic going north-south again.
Yeah.
So that's gotta be reset once more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too long, the north-south. Yeah.
Do you find
Because it
any,
just sort of keeps, for some reason.
Yeah.
610.
do you find any difference of it, whether the traffic is going east and then going north, or whether it's coming west and going south? Is there any, or is it much the same idea? It just depends on which way. Like, is there one way worse than another way, or?
I think on First Street and Thornhill, it would be the westbound going south.
West?
Only because there's more industry and there, like people are going to work kind of thing.
Yeah.
At Mountain and Thornhill, it's 50-50.
Yeah, I would say, exactly.
Yeah,
It's definitely westbound turning south
Yeah.
at first.
yeah, yeah. And I think it's just because of the concentration of people that are going that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there not sensors? Is there sensors on First? Is there, or no?
There's supposed to be, but some
Supposed to be.
people say it's not working either.
They're, it depends on the movement of the
Plan.
the ground, right? They get disconnected sometimes apparently, so if there's a lot of shift.
A little bit of frost and stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing that's noted in this report, but just something that we're going to be working on. Vass and I had to sit down and kind of go over what we're doing, but it's a proposal from the RM Stanley, and our participation in that. It's, yeah, it'll be a budget item that'll be coming up, so. I wasn't sure if I had mentioned it in this report or not. I don't think I did, so.
Where's that tanker at?
That's just what I was talking about. The RM is basically, well, I wouldn't say forced into getting another tanker, but yeah, pretty much forced us to get another tanker. And the proposal that we'd like to talk to them about, and we have had a meeting with them, is that they would purchase the tanker and we would provide a spot to put it into. The spot to put it into would be an expansion at our end, but with that would be an availability for us to put in a larger ladder truck. Right now, the length of our bays wouldn't accommodate that, but if we did an expansion, we could encroach on that back wall, which would be gone. So then we'd be able to have a larger ladder truck, which then in turn allows construction of taller buildings in the city. So that kind of takes that restriction away. And also, I mentioned to Faisal, kind of a selfish point on my part, is that when our pumper, which is slated for replacement in the next 4 years, is that instead of selling it for what we can get for it, and I've been asking around what those types of things are worth, and it's anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 that we could possibly get for that, to actually hang on to that truck, to be our backup if one of ours goes down for maintenance, or if we have a mutual aid call, we would use that one instead of kind of raping and pillage the city coverage for that particular event. I know we've gone to Ashern, and we were there for a week, and we had one of our pumpers out of service for the community of Morden for that period of time. That type of situation, we would then use that truck. And the reason why I say it's selfish is I love that truck. It works awesome. It hasn't given us hardly any issues other than what we've created ourselves. And to send it away and for that amount of money almost makes me cry, because it works great. And for us to have it as a backup, yeah, we couldn't get one that would be that beneficial. So with the expansion, that would give us a spot where we can put that inside and still be able to look after it. But so that's why I say it's a selfish way of asking, but we'll get to that point in that time. But in the meantime, we need to look after that housing of the tanker. And so if we're going to do it, we must as well do it all at once, and then we're set. But again, we have to, Faisal and I have to talk about what process we're going to go through, and then I imagine we'll have a meeting with Dale and their council to see where we're at.
And they're paying for that space?
They'll pay for the tanker, we'll pay for the space.
But the whole use of the tanker is for their purpose?
Yes, other than the response that we have to the airport. Right now they have no fire suppression there at all. If we have a tanker that's 4,500 gallons, that would then take care of their fire suppression requirements. We were talking about having a 5,000 gallon tank in the ground somewhere on the property. This would then take care of that. So that would be a benefit to us. Also, if there's a water main break where we can't hook onto a hydrant system within the city, that tank will then be able to take care of that issue if there's an emergency in that area. So it's I would say it's a 95% benefit for us. But yeah, we would definitely want to look after that unit ourselves. I know the conversation we had with the RM of Stanley was that, they may use it, have it in their building or in different locations to house it. In the middle of winter, is there a greater park in front of it? Is the front of the door open so we can actually get into it? Now we have to drive there to pick it up to come get it. It's just not, it's not efficient for what we need to do. So the only way to do that is for us to be in charge of it. If they purchase it, like as a capital purchase, it then rolls into our maintenance program, like I call it our first responder, our 144. They paid for that unit, we put that right here.
So you're talking an actual truck?
Yes.
Or you're just the tanker?
No, it's an actual truck, yeah.
Any idea what
We
that's?
call it a tanker. but-
Any idea what that space would cost us to add to the building?
For a double bay is around 250,
So we got a 250,000 more cost. What's the tanker worth?
300.
Really? So we're,
And that's if we work at it really efficiently. We could have just going through the same process. They got quotes of up to 500. So they're getting creative in trying to get it down to the 300. And Richard has purchased the chassis separately. He's purchased the tank separately from Beck, I think, somewhere. And he's having load line assemble everything and get things going so he can get something that's in that ballpark. Yeah, so it's kind of a soft, but there is a benefit for that expansion to us with other things other than just a tanker.
I can make a note with your other truck that's down. I heard some good.
I'm actually expecting it back within the week, I hope.
So it wasn't as bad as what you first expected, I heard?
No, it was, we were fortunate that way.
Yeah.
And, but now the problem was trying to find parts for it. So that's what they were waiting on. And they were expecting them to arrive last week. They wanted to get it just before Thanksgiving, but I'm not sure if that will actually happen, but within the next week or two.
Who's fixing that, Jim?
Yeah, they've given us a number to kind of Band-Aid us through, but if we have a ladder requirement, then we'll be our call.
The pulled pork was good the other night, after the golf tournament.
Oh yeah, I missed that one too.
And Papa on there.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the month of September was very busy for me. I attended the Firefighters Memorial in Ottawa as part of the Manitoba Chiefs who entered to be a host and to basically do whatever the families of lost firefighters needed. And it was awesome. It was nice to see how just the little things that you can do for somebody make a big difference. Yeah. So personally, I got to know approximately 4 families quite closely just by being their taxi and chauffeur and whatever, and you get to know them when you're in the close confines of a van. And yeah, very rewarding. And yeah, so then the following week I was in Calgary for the Canadian Fire Chiefs, and it was a good conference. It mainly was dealing with mental health and how our job affects our volunteers. And yeah, some good points, some good things for me to try to implement in the next little while. It's good, very good. Just takes you away from a lot of things. Golf and the pulled pork was one of them.
Very good. Any questions? Any comments? No? Thank you.
Awesome, thanks.
All right, it's 10:12, and item 6.3 is the police chief report.
Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning.
submitted my report, so if anybody has any questions, comments about it.
Found it pretty interesting, like there's a lot of vehicles that have gone through overnight probably, right? But
Yeah.
isn't it amazing, isn't it interesting how people leave money in their vehicles?
They sometimes make it too easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting how are they locked vehicles or unlocked or?
Most of them are unlocked. Some indicate they are locked, but there's
Yeah.
no signs of forced entry, so.
Because almost every case it looks like money was taken, right? So they obviously
99% of them
vehicles.
are unlocked, unfortunately.
Hmm.
And due to that, we just kind of, to go off that comment, we started a campaign through our social media, through our Facebook and our Twitter and Instagram, regarding reminding the public to lock their vehicles in garages and sheds. I'm not sure if anybody has seen that. Lock It Up, it's called the program.
Mhm.
And basically it's our special constables are looking after the maintenance of it, and it's an automated reminder that comes up on Facebook or Twitter to lock your vehicles, your sheds, your garages for the night. And I think it comes out about 9 p.m. Kind of a reminder before people decide to retire for the night. Maybe a mental note, oh yeah, I should lock up my vehicle in my garage, right? Because it's easy to forget. It's very easy to forget. But also reminding people, take your things out of your vehicles, don't leave it in plain view. Make it tempting, because for the most part, we're lucky. People are looking for vehicles that are unlocked, and if they come across a locked one, they move on, right? It's an opportunity that they're looking for. So lock it up, take everything out. If there's nothing there they're looking for, they'll most likely move on. That's what we're finding right now. So we've got to try and get that message out to the public to help themselves too, because it's easier to prevent it than try and solve it after and find out who's doing this. But yeah, that's unfortunately that is continuing, and it's starting to slow down a little bit, and I'm not sure it has anything to do with the weather, because it hasn't been that bad yet. But I think we're starting to get a bit of a handle on things as to the different groups that are going around doing this. So unfortunately, it doesn't always amount to necessarily charges and taking them to court, but at least we're pinpointing what groups are being involved in this, trying to deal with it in other ways. Any other questions about that? Or anything about that?
A lot of stuff going on, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then fall time is usually our training time, as I've mentioned in the past, so we try to catch up on courses and seminars and such for our members to go on. In September, we had somebody attend a 5-day course in Winnipeg for a search warrant drafting course, which basically teaches them, instructs them how to prepare a search warrant for whatever search is for drugs, firearms, or property. In October here, we are in the midst of our annual firearms qualifications and use of force training. That'll be over a 2-week span by the time we get all our members through it. It's a 2-day course for each individual member. We run about 4 or 5 per session. So by the time we go through all the scenarios of different tactical things out on the range, no longer are you just standing there shooting at a target, standing still. That's not reality. So there are a lot of different scenarios and training that goes in over two days to try and simulate as close as possible to a real life situation. Somebody with a knife, with a gun, hostage taking, those sort of things. So a lot of time and effort goes into our trainers, our instructors who set that up and put this on for over the next couple of weeks. So a lot of work. In November, we have somebody on a search and seizure course for 3 days in Winnipeg, and then in December, we're sending 2 members to Ottawa, to the Canadian Police College, on a major crimes investigative techniques course. So fall time will be busy with training, so we hope the calls will go down during that time. And that's all I have to report today. If anybody has any other questions.
Are you coming with your new constable?
Good, we are, I think last month I reported we were in the final stages. This week, we're sending 2 of our members out to do some in-person background checks with family, friends, employers, or references. So that should wrap up this week, and hopefully we can make a decision the following week, because they're off to training in January. By the time we get everything's put in place in order, they're getting the clothing.
You've narrowed it to how many?
Pardon me?
You've narrowed it to how many?
Right now, we have 4.
4. I'm still one of them.
Sorry?
I'm not one of them now.
Well, that's hard to say.
Well, you can do all the background checks, just talk to
Yeah, we gotta
Deputy
get,
Mayor
we gotta
Penner.
get through the background check first.
Yeah. There was a big thing on, I forget what day it was, up on Rampton. Winkler showed up, the RCMP showed up. You guys had 3 or 4
Oh, yeah.
cars there.
Yeah, somebody decided to bolt on us, so.
Oh, okay. I forgot their workout, eh?
Yeah. Landed up in another community, which he got caught, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we had lots of support there and the sharing of resources and working together. We have Winkler over there with their K9 unit, because their K9 is trained in the tracking aspect, so. So we had, I think, 14 members within 5-10 minutes, so it's nice to have that support.
That's about the 3rd time we've been there in a month and a half, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it should get better, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I was pumping gas at the Fuel Good days when that was
Right.
happening. Everybody said, what's going on? I said, let me check my phone. I'm sure somebody filled me in.
Yeah, one of our guys was supposed to be.
One was there. Yeah.
Did he?
He left.
He had to, yeah. So that happens. It's nice to be involved, but if a call comes in, we gotta attend to that, so.
Yeah. All right, any questions for Chief Naduzak? We're good?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. It's 10:19. 6.4 is the mayor's report. Mine is very brief. I came back from Cape Cod Conference. I was there for 3 days. I presented there on behalf of the city of Morden. Made some contacts. We'll see what the value is returned to the city, or what the value is. Spent some time with high school stuff. They had a, what do they call it?
The debate.
Oh,
the
yes, I was
national
at the
debate.
Student Debate Federation. I participated in some events and stuff there. But also they have an honorary citizenship ceremony for people, students who are coming over on exchange. So there's a history of acknowledging those kids as honorary citizens of Morden. And then I spent some time over the Mornack issue as well, speaking with different people and helping facilitate a few things. Other than that, that was my 2 weeks. 6.5 external organizations. 6.51 is a letter from Holly Taft requesting marked parking spaces on Stevens Street. You'll see the scan there. She's requesting front and back markings on Stevens Street so that cars don't get boxed in. That I think we should leave with administration to come back with a recommendation on.
I don't know if I've ever seen it. Have anybody ever seen parallel parking markings? Have you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes it less efficient for sure, because they're usually meted out for a big truck, and then you get a small car in that space, and you get a lot less.
Yeah, we were in Ontario this summer, one of the communities had.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did I do that? How does it work in the winter?
Don't ask me, I only go in the summer. No, I don't know. Obviously, it's an issue, but
Yeah.
Maybe come back with a recommendation for that.
Taken
6.5,
for information?
yeah. 6.52 Snow Pass. Yeah, it's a, I believe it's being sponsored by Thompson. What was it, AMNA?
Yes, they're looking for our support
Yeah,
on their resolution. So they want all snow machines that apply for a license to pay for the
Pay for snow
registration.
pass.
for
Require
the
a snow pass.
Makes sense.
What about users who use it strictly, say, on their farmyard? Or if
Well, they have exceptions for that.
Yeah.
And for hunters and fishers, they talk about the exemptions. Commercial license, trappers, isolation, traveling to work, landowners on their own land. I guess it's hard for them to monitor who's paid their trail fees and who hasn't. I guess that's what they're running into.
It'd be something that a rural municipality be more in touch than urban. Like for us, we're not, hardly affects us, right?
Yeah,
They can't come through town, so snow routes.
They just sent that out to all municipalities.
I hesitate making mandatory enrollment in a private organization a necessary thing. Seems like a lot of encroachment on personal liberty and
Probably
decision
their
choice.
frustration of maintaining
I know.
trails and not paying your rate.
How does it work right now when, say if you're down in this area and then you go up north on their trails, do you have to pay anything when you got there? Like, is there a,
You're supposed to, I think.
so then,
When is it going to a different area?
then you're supposed to?
It's the whole idea of the snow pass, right?
So when they bring a resolution forward, they don't want it to say 93 yes and 7 no. They want it to be 100% yes.
Well, we'll just follow Stanley's lead.
Pardon me?
We'll just follow Stanley's lead.
Well,
Wherever they
I
go,
don't know. It's,
coming in Stanley.
it really doesn't affect City of Morton or any urban center.
And we do have riders, but nobody's really riding in town. Are they?
Not supposed
They
to
better
be.
not be,
Are snowmobilers riding in town?
There is provisions for them to exit
Yeah.
down certain paths to get out, so they don't have to trailer their machines. But they're excluded from main arteries, obviously, like Stephen Street or going down, or driving down sidewalks, supposed to be.
Okay.
That's.
They can go to the gas bar, right? They can get,
Yes.
I think that's the only way. And then they have to go back out again.
Yeah.
Are we interested in co-sponsoring the bill?
Leave that up to every individual. I think to speak to it is to let the rural municipalities speak to it rather than urban centers.
Yeah,
Just like I don't think Brian Bowman's going to speak to it.
no. I think we do have riders, but I don't know enough about what riders in our community want to be able to.
And it's not everybody vote for themselves.
Yeah,
I'm assuming riders in our community want group trails, and
right,
that comes at a cost, and
yeah.
whether they
We have a club in this area, wouldn't that be better, groups of trails, wouldn't that be better for them to speak to this?
Well, yeah, it's because they want to have one feed right for the whole,
Yeah.
they're part of that.
So why would we make a decision?
We don't have to. I think it just
They
carries
just
on.
heard from.
take it for information.
FYI,
Yeah.
Okay.
the library,
6.53, South Central Regional Library, you've read the letter. They're requesting better signage entering the community.
where do you put signs? Like, where do we?
Well, I can
think
sort of,
it's those
I can sort of speak to
multiple
that.
brown
This has been,
Well,
Have they ever seen the hospital or the golf course or
police.
Oh, those?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that got to do with our municipality, though? We don't put them up.
Well,
That's-
they need our
This is something that's been ongoing for quite some time. They've requested, like, Councilor Maddock already mentioned, we have a big sign outside, like a community sign basically, where it says you have accommodations, you have restaurants, you have the golf course, and there's also little symbols, right? And they're requesting that libraries be part of that.
Oh, on those
Yeah.
signs.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's to the highway said,
That's
that's not.
got nothing to do with Morden.
Well, it's like based on Mr. Schuler's response here.
But they want the province to acknowledge
The
libraries
province,
as a
the province
sticker.
suggests that in order for them to consider that, they need a request from the municipalities. So whether that be in the form of a letter or a resolution, probably a letter would be sufficient, I imagine. Right? To request that being part of that sign, just to recognize there's a library in this town or city.
Gary, when I read that letter, it says, in order for Manitoba Infrastructure to add library signs to community signage, the department requires a request from the
Right.
communities. Well, as changes to signs
Or a
are
cost.
shared costs. I didn't know we even paid for those.
I don't remember what happened,
What happened,
like the initial ones, that I'm not sure about, but that's
We
a long
don't-
time ago since they were up there, but.
The other thing, you talk about you distracted driving, you put any more on there,
Yeah.
people are going to the ditch trying to read the sign.
We don't have one of those multi-page signs
No, we don't.
coming into town,
No.
so. I mean, they're just
Don't we have
asking
that sign
for that
from the
logo to
boarding
be
lot?
added to the selection.
We have our,
No, those brown signs, like the,
We put-
when you drive into,
the other town,
mostly
we have
they're
one
on
that has our own symbols on it.
transparent.
guess
We have the signs,
Yeah.
that signs important, like
Yeah.
post office.
Because we have, well, I guess we have hospitals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but we don't have that
That's why-
signboard.
I don't know, whatever.
I know this has been a topic of the library, well, in the year that I've been involved, they've talked about it almost every meeting, I think, but
Well, if all they want is a letter, I'm sure we can do
Yeah.
that.
I would imagine that would be sufficient. I would imagine that would be sufficient.
My understanding is
No,
they
it's
just
not.
want.
You gotta send it with a check, blank check.
No, you
No,
don't.
no, they.
Well, sure, it says, here, signs are
If-
shared costs.
I know, if we put up the sign, we'll
Yeah.
share the cost.
Yeah,
We just won't put up the sign, right?
Well, they won't send a letter out.
Well, we have-
I would recommend that we send a letter.
okay.
Whatever. Small issue.
Michelle will have that over this afternoon.
Okay, 6.61.
Get it louder.
Can I just
Yeah.
make one more further comment? I sent an email to council members in regards to our last finance committee meeting with the library board. Is there an opportunity sometime before the 24th of October just to informally have a talk about that? Because they really do need some indication, else there'll have to be some measures taken, I think, so. If we can just sometime have a general conversation about it.
Sure.
Well, you have to bring it up at committee of the whole.
I can bring that up.
Or if we go back after the gathering before.
We're not supposed to have those anyway, those are,
Those worked out very well, I thought.
Would that not come up during our budget planning and all that, or do you want
Well,
something ahead of time?
It would, but they're in the process of finalizing their budget end of October. And the status right now is, and I mentioned in the email, I think they'll be in the neighborhood of $20,000 short, I think it was. They've made some major cuts already. Unfortunately, the province's per capita hasn't gone up for forever. I think it's $850 per capita is what the province pays, and have forever, right? And they have written numerous letters, and still do write letters to the province, but with no response or no commitment, I guess.
Can we even expend extra money in this year's budget without,
Well, it
Putting
wouldn't
it in next
be
year?
for this year.
okay.
It wouldn't be for
then
this year, it'd be for next year.
Do we leave it till?
The only,
till-
I guess the only option, and the option probably don't think many would want to, I guess, agree to, would be is if it doesn't come from the municipalities, one of the options that they don't really want to explore but may have to is that they may have to reduce hours at the libraries.
Do what?
Reduce
Reduce
hours.
Well,
hours.
they've increased them in the last 2 years, big time, so.
Well, I don't, I just can't see, with as much as libraries get used, it's incredible how much they get used.
Yeah.
When I see the numbers, it's mind-boggling how much they get used. So I don't think they want to go that road. So it's just a matter of a little conversation, you know, as to if more than, and the same conversation has to be had with the Winker Council,
Right.
the Manitou, you know, Miami, Altona, they're all in the same boat, so. It just, I guess the conversation, I don't think we can have that at some point.
Under-
To just, I mean, it's not to say we have to commit like right now,
Right.
but would we be looking at that? Rather than just say, no, we're not spending any more money, period. Because then if we said that, then they would have to take other measures, obviously.
Just wait till my kids pay their overdue penalties.
Yeah.
The other item, just for thought, if you ever, a tour of Swamp Regional Landfill, if anybody is interested in it, the manager of Swamp said he would gladly accept the councillors to come down there for a tour of the landfill, so if anybody ever wants to.
It's an amazing tour of what he is doing out there.
We'll go when that frost is out, because it gets, right now it's pretty soupy out there, so.
Great.
But if you want to, we can, maybe he'll join Morton, Winkler, Stanley and do it on one day. We'll have everybody over there, so. Okay, I'll mention it.
Okay,
Is everybody interested?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay, just maybe one more comment.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is, like I know in the past, we used to have I don't know how the rest of you feel about this, but in the past, we always had like a section in the committee, the whole agenda, where you could report on the committees you're on. I mean, very often there was no reports, right? I mean.
That's 6.5, that's right now.
That's
It's right here. Yep.
External organizations.
External organization.
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess it used to be.
Well, everyone, which was a
it used to have- it used to-
space.
Well, yeah, but normally external organizations, like I wouldn't, would you report on MSCW as example?
Sure.
Just
If it's not the report, yeah. If it's not the report, then no.
Okay,
Would you rather, like,
no, that's fine.
was before you go through each one?
Well, I'm just saying, very
It
often,
is there.
there was no reports, and that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
so that's why it's like this. If there's a report, then you've got the opportunity to put it there.
But here it says, if recommendations of council committee are needed. So I mean, not necessarily recommendations, but you may want to update them on
Yep.
library board as example.
Yeah.
There's no recommendations needed, but you might just want to,
What this section is for.
And you can send requests to city manager and we can put it on the agenda.
no, that's fine.
Or you can just change your word recommendation
No, that's
to
fine.
update. Yeah.
No, if that's the
Yeah.
spot, then that's fine.
But you're
Yeah.
asking just
Yeah.
more for a free-for-all under this
Yeah,
thing,
no, no.
just to say, well, yeah, I went
Yeah, I
to
wouldn't
this
say,
meeting and
yeah,
this
that's fine.
is,
This
yeah.
is what happened.
No, I
in the
like that
past.
idea.
There was
They're all
times
listed,
there was nothing,
they're
so.
listed, they're all
that-
listed, right?
Yeah, that's how it came up to this,
That's fine,
unless somebody's got something to say.
that's fine.
But I like the idea of having the opportunity to just informally update on a,
Just so
on a
the
meeting,
other
yeah.
members all know, like I
Yep.
know what's going on down by the water co-op as an example, right? Just as
Yeah.
an example, right?
Mhm.
Because right now I don't know anything about it,
Yeah.
right?
I usually just forward you guys the minutes of my meetings.
That's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah, and then you can read them.
I think there's value to that for sure. And it's easy enough to say there's nothing to report. I mean, if we say, okay, who's on water co-op, nothing to report. But when there is, for process, if we move people around, we are suddenly required to make a decision and we don't have any background or history or understanding from 10 months. And then suddenly there's a decision to be made that we don't know. It becomes a lot less informed.
some of the,
Yeah.
ongoing stuff.
So
Good with that.
I wouldn't, I mean, to put them on and
Expand
say
that?
there's nothing to report is fine as well. I mean, we just go through 6.54, nothing to report, because there's a limited number of committees, right? That keeps everybody, because eventually committee members will move around, right? So, I wouldn't mind that. Okay, 6.61, council meeting committee of the whole time changing for November and December. We initially agreed that the winter would go
Oh,
back.
yeah, we would like to keep it in the morning.
In the morning?
Yeah,
Oh,
because it's more efficient. because earlier like we changed it from May to October in the mornings, and we felt that it's more efficient because staff is readily available and we need them there to provide explanation and clarification on certain issues. So we'd like to keep it in the morning,
So committee of a whole in the morning
and both counseling.
and council in the morning too?
Okay.
I disagree with that. Again, we say we're transparent. Take time off work, you can come to our meetings.
Well, and now we're
That was the purpose
televised.
of putting the meetings at night.
Well, and now we're televised that they can
Well,
catch up.
still, if you want to come to a meeting, we're transparent, but you take time off work to come to it.
But if you don't,
Which
if you
is-
can't, then
is
you
not
still
okay,
have a
okay.
video access to what happens here. No, then we can stay Monday.
So if you've
on the
got something to
mornings.
say, video access doesn't do you a hell of a lot of good. But if you're not prepared to take your time off work to come to the council and say something, that was the purpose of the Monday night meetings, but
Then do we like to keep council in the evening and committee in the morning?
that's how it used to be.
Well, yeah, we could do that. I mean, because they're not going to come to committee and usually make presentations, they'll go to the council and make presentations usually. So if we did committee in the morning, 'cause that's really where staff come in handy, right?
But or the council meetings are pretty cut and dry. There's no,
Right.
To me,
have
this
an
is-
agenda
Usually the
item for
committee
council
meetings are
to
the ones
allow
where they want to
people.
come to and speak.
We can allow people to speak at council meetings. There can be an item, or
a line item that.
line item to allow.
It adds an
people to
extra
speak.
2 weeks though, because they come to council, present, and they're waiting a month, whereas they come to committee, make presentation, and they're waiting 2 weeks.
Well, but still, if they come and management needs to do some research on their presentation, that gives them a chance to come back to the committee of a whole, and then we can recommend it for council, so. Thank
Did
you.
you say it's videotape? Look at Dave right now, he's taking time away from his store to do this. So, that's a very good example.
Leave the decision to Dave then.
COW in the morning and council in the evening.
At least that way we're accessible once a month, regardless whether you work night shift or day shift.
Our staff.
Go ahead.
Just say.
Good. I just wanted to clarify something before we end here today regarding the snowmobile bylaw or off-road vehicle bylaw. Just for the public, you should always check on the bylaws online. They're on the City of Morden website. But just sitting here thinking, a couple of years ago, we did revamp the off-road vehicle bylaw. And with the comment about being able to travel to the gas stations, fuel stations to fuel up, that is no longer in there provision because of the bulk stations on Wilcox. We felt it was not safe for them to be traveling to like the fuel stations down Thornhill. A, because of the traffic, and B, because they would have to use the boulevards or the sidewalk to get there. So, now with the bulk fuel stations on Wilcox, they can access those.
Okay.
So they no longer can travel to the fuel stations within, on Thornhill, I guess, basically.
Okay.
So for those who
Just
didn't
wanted to
pick up the
clarify
audio, you cannot take a snowmobile to a gas station unless it's on Wilcox.
Committee of a whole is in the
Correct,
morning and
yeah,
council
okay.
meeting.
Correct.
Did you get that? Is that where,
Is that-
is that agreed upon?
Is that agreed
Before
I'm
I
happy
put it
with that.
right, we weren't done that yet, so. We're still talking about our council meetings here.
Yeah, pardon me, I just wanted to interject
Yeah.
here, sorry.
So are we okay with? I'm not sure chairing this part, you are, Mayor.
Yeah, I mean.
Committee of a whole in the morning,
Council meeting in the evening.
council in the evening?
Yeah,
Okay.
fine with that,
We'll bring it to council meeting.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, item number 7,
Just in a follow-up to the Legion.
yeah.
He's got a meeting with the school division on the 16th of October, and they're very receptive to moving forward in conjunction with council
Okay,
Okay.
on that.
so we'll wait for a resolution there. 7.0 is in camera, we need a motion to go in camera.
Hildebrand.
Heather.
All right, we have a motion to move in camera. Moved by Council Hildebrand, second by Council Fenner. In favor, please indicate. We'll wait for the vote. We gotta actually move in camera. In favor of moving in camera, opposed, we go in camera. All right, 7.0, we need to move her and secretary to the camera. Within camera, for sure. Right. Moving out of camera, moved by Councilor Maddock. Do we have a seconder?
I will.
Good, Councilor Lefebvre, seconds in favor of moving out in camera. So, motion succeeds, we're no longer in camera. Motion, agenda number 8.0 is an adjournment. We move her to secondary. It's got to be at least you. Okay, moved by Councilor Frost, seconded by Councilor Hunt, that we adjourn. In favor, please indicate. We are adjourned.